Assalamu alaikum guys, I hope you're all doing amazing inshallah. Welcome back to my channel. I haven't done a video in quite some time, so let's do this. I have been wanting to film this video for like at least 3 weeks, but I did not find the time and I forgot about it many times. I'm like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna film it. Tomorrow I'm gonna film it before Maghrib comes, and I like, by the way, I have to pray Asr. Did I pray Asr? Okay guys, I'm a praying come back. Hello, I'm back. I finished praying and everything. Okay, I think these glasses are gonna be quite annoying because of the reflection, so let's just put them off. Anyways, I'm back with a book recommendation / review of the infamous book that, if anyone is very much a Pinterest person, I think you've heard of this book. It's As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, and it is amazing, absolutely amazing. When I finished this book, I was genuinely so sad because I did not want to finish it. I wanted it to like last forever. You know how people like on TikTok and Instagram and stuff be reviewing be recommending books just because they're like popular. This one is popular for a reason. Like, everything in this book is cut down to perfection. I cannot talk about this book enough. Wallah. Every time I talk about this book, there seems to be no end to my yapping. So this specifically is a book recommendation to everyone, to all the like Muslim girlies out there, especially because I do, like, as a person that like loves books, like I'm looking at all my books on the shelf right now. Like, I love books. I really struggle to find like teenage girl friendly books that are like completely halal with like no explicit text and like bad stuff in there. Especially, I do notice that people nowadays think a book cannot be interesting unless you put in like their dirty romance story inside, and that just makes me like so disgusted and mad. But with this book, you don't need to worry about that. You do not need to worry about it, because for real, it is written by a Muslim author, and the story talks about the people in Syria, and let's get into it. Before I start telling the story, I do need to make a warning, which is a spoiler warning. I'm literally gonna spoil the whole plot of the book. I'm gonna spoil every little thing. So what I would recommend you is either, like, because I have friends that are like this, they like don't care about spoilers, they read the book anyways or watch the show anyways. But if you are someone that can physically not watch a show or read a book after you've been spoiled, click off the video. Or like read the book and come back and watch the video. What's the harm in that? Like, I am gonna spoil everything. If that bothers you, then I'm sorry, this video is not for you. Now I can start. Y'all, I have so many mosquitoes on my walls. Okay, let's start. Let's start the video. Really thinking about making my channel also like a French channel. If anyone like is watching this video wants to see my video more in like a French, I think I'll be more successful if I do a French video. Should I make this video in French? Yes. I'm really debating and doing. You know what? I'm gonna make this video in English specifically because I know my cousin is watching this and I know she will not understand the video if I make it in French. So shout out Amina. Sleep. I'm gonna make this video in English for you. My most loyal YouTube watcher. Okay, so the book is called As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. I don't know if I have mentioned that, but yeah, this is the book. The cover is absolutely amazing. But anyways, oh my god, what a long intro. Let's start. So The book talks about a girl named Selama. She's a pharmacist, but through the circumstances of the Syrian war, she had to become a surgeon in her hospital, where she works with a doctor named Dr. Ziyad, who she mentions in the book being like her father figure, and he's like the kind of like the chef and the director of the hospital. Like, he directs everything. He's like the oldest one there and stuff like that. So yeah, that is Dr. Ziyad. He is more like a fatherly figure to Salama. And yeah, Salama has lost both her parents. Her father was arrested for protesting against the Assad regime, and her brother also got arrested. Her mother then survived, like she did not get arrested or anything, but she then did like get bombed, like, and she lost her mother. So her mother is only mentioned as someone who already passed. The story starts where she's already an orphan and has only one person left. That person being her best friend and her brother's wife, Layla. So like, she was her best friend first, like they grew up together, and then she goes on to marry her brother. Everything I'm telling you was like the backstory. Like, when you start reading the book, these things have already happened. Layla is also pregnant with Salama's niece. So like, the brother died, or like got arrested, not died. He got arrested before Layla got the baby. So Layla's currently pregnant. So the book really gets into the struggles of Salama's life, her having to take care of Layla and her niece, like, because of course she's pregnant, so she has to have that responsibility of later on taking care of the niece. Especially, she tries her best to save Layla from bad life circumstances, because she said that she made her last promise to Hamza, her brother that got arrested, was that she was going to take care of Layla and also her mother, and in her eyes she failed to protect her mother because her mother passes. So for her, her main priority is to protect Layla and the baby. And Salama also suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And through her PTSD, a character has grown. His name is Khawf. And funny thing about this character is I always read it as this Khawf. I was like, what is Khawf? Like, what an interesting name. By the way, I'm Arab. I speak Arabic and I still didn't understand it. And like, one day while reading the book, I was like, oh, Khawf. His name is Khawf. For anyone that doesn't speak Arabic, Khawf means fear in Arabic. So he is her fear, but he's portrayed as this like shallow man who like warns her of anything and always like paints the worst scenarios in her head and like puts her in her traumatic life experiences. He always goes into her mind and like snaps his fingers, and suddenly she's in this like scenario of seeing her mother bleed out and stuff like that, like really graphic images, and she like physically sees him as a person and like talks with him and like wanders into space. So like, he's a real big problem like in her life. He always like influences her decisions in life. Salama is also someone that is very loyal to her home country, Syria. And so she does not want to leave Syria, but Khawf has talked her out of being this protector of her country, because he just made her realize that she needs to protect Layla and the baby, and just has to get out of there as quickly as possible because things are getting more dangerous every day, and the Syrian military from Al-Assad can get them any day. One day, when she was working at the hospital, she meets a boy. He's like 18, they're both like that age. His name is Kenan. By the way, if anyone is from Syria or something, tell me how to pronounce his name, because in my name, I've never heard of an Arab name named Kenan. And like I could not find a right way to pronounce his name else than Keenan. So if anyone has any idea how to pronounce his name, please tell me. Anywho, so she meets this boy named Keenan, and he's a photographer, and he kind of like films the world, his country more, and like posts it anonymously on YouTube, because if the authorities find out, he will get arrested, because it's very dangerous to like criticize the regime, the government in any sort, you know. So yeah, so he's kind of like a freedom fighter kind of way, you know. So Salama is this character that's deeply rooted to Syria and cannot leave Syria while knowing that she can help people, and Keenan is the same, only that Salama has khawf that transformed her mind and put this priority to keep her promise to Hamza to protect Layla. But the problem is that Keenan has two younger siblings, a girl and a boy, and his younger brother Yusuf has gone non-verbal since his parents passed away, because yes, Keenan is also an orphan just like Salama, but Salama has found the will to leave the country and Keenan still hasn't. So as you might expect, they do want to get married. The little sister of Keenan, I apologize, but I forgot her name. I only remember that his brother was named Yusuf. I really forgot her name. But yeah, she comes in, she's very sick in the hospital. Salama takes care of her, but she told Keenan that she's weak and leaving her here is just gonna make things worse, and that he needs to leave to protect his siblings. He refuses because he says that he would be a coward to leave, and that he has to stay to show the world what is happening in Syria, because he is getting some online attention. So she does manage to like convince him to like protect his siblings, but in Keenan's mind that means sending off his siblings on the boat where Salama and Layla are supposed to leave. That means he wants to leave his siblings to travel alone across the ocean to his uncle that lives in Germany. But it is very probable that if he's not there to protect them, that they're going to get kidnapped, and that Salama has no power, of course, of what the military does to the siblings, you know. And of course she also has to take care of her best friend who's literally carrying a child, you know. So she has no power to protect them. So she goes on for a long time to try to convince Keenan that they have to leave. Both have to leave. And Salama also wants to marry Keenan, but she knows that she can't marry him if he's gonna stay like this, and it's just gonna be something that breaks her heart even more, because she cannot imagine a life of staying in Syria. Especially, she said, even there is no priority that goes over Layla, and also like, which is like also her promise to Hamza, you know, her brother's name is Hamza. So yeah, she also like, let's not forget, she still struggles very much with her PTSD. Like Khawf is still very, very present in her mind, warning her about Keenan, saying this is not gonna work, saying he has to leave, saying this, saying that, like making fun of her the whole time. He's like not very caring or anything. It's like a love-hate relationship with this character she built inside his mind, because at the same time he's like taking care of her future, but also making her question every life decision she makes, you know. So yeah, she does manage to convince Keenan that it's better for him, and that that it's selfish of him to just stay here, and that he can also make videos about Syria when they flee to München. Shout out Emina also, of course. Another time, my cousin watching this from Munich. Yeah, so they do want to leave to Munich in Germany, and she said if they do want to go, that he has to go with them. So after they decided they want to leave, they go on a protest together, last time. The protest scene was a very, very intense one. So basically they both make up a time where they're gonna meet in front of a specific place. She said she wants to go on a protest one last time before leaving to Germany. She wants to do one last thing for her country. But protests in Syria are not like a normal protest, especially before the revolution. So it's literally like a life or death situation. So they go on this protest against the government. They both like cover their faces and like do everything to not get caught. Anyways, they're there, they sing and stuff like that. And then the military, like, or the police comes and they run away to a place that she knows where they can hide, which is the rubbles of her old home, the home that got bombed where her mother passed away. So she's like there, and again her PTSD kicks in. She has these hallucinations, and suddenly she's like, she sees her young self there running with Layla, being happy again, being children there. And one thing Zulfa, like the author, does, which is so well written, is when she wants to show us that Salama, the main character, is reliving an old memory, she like changes the font of the writing, and she writes a whole scenario of them running around and stuff like that. And it's so emotional. It's so well done. So well done. So well done. Oh my god, like, oh my god, why am I using my phone to express myself? Yeah, like I keep forgetting that this is not only like a story time but a review. Like, I just want to genuinely say that this book, you don't feel like you're reading a book, like you feel like you're inside the book. Like you feel like for me, when I tell you the story, like I have a whole movie inside my head. Like she has a gift, which is to write as if you are inside the story, and it's mashallah, all I have to say is mashallah. It's incredible. It's really incredible. They later on, when they finish the protest and go and hide in that building specifically, Kenan asks Salama, and he's like, I noticed that sometimes you like dissociate and you just like staring into space. Like, it's very like weird. What is happening when you do that? For the people that still haven't understood why she's looking, it's because there's like Khawf next to Kenan, for example, and she's like talking with him. She's not physically talking, but like they're having a mind conversation. Like, for her, she's literally having a conversation with Khawf. She knows that he's not real, but she still communicates with him as if he's like a real man, you know. And then she admits to Kenan, she's like, well, I'm going to tell you. And like, she was so scared to tell him because she was like, now he's not gonna want to marry me. But she told him about Khawf and admitted everything to him, the PTSD and stuff, and that he understood. And in that moment they like agreed that they're gonna marry each other, and they sleep on the ground of that building because they cannot go out of the building because the police and military and the authorities are still looking for the protesters, and it's not safe to go out. So they spend the night sleeping on the ground, basically, of that abandoned building, which is basically like rubbles and stuff. Anyways, they wake up, it's the next morning, and Salama notices that she has not updated Layla, and that Layla must be at home, worried, sick, right? So she has to go home, and Layla knows that Salama is going to this very dangerous protest. So in her mind, she's probably like, okay, Salama passed away, I lost everyone and stuff like that. So Salama realizes the next morning and runs home and stuff like that with Kenan. Kenan is I think he was waiting outside or something like that. Anyways, she goes home, she wants to tell her everything, and she goes on to explain to her what happened, the fact that she's gonna get married to Kenan today, they're gonna have the nikah ceremony and stuff like that. And yeah, so she comes home and she finds that Layla is like sitting on the ground, on the cold ground, literally not sleeping. She said that she did not sleep the whole night and was just laying on the cold ground while she's pregnant. So she really did something very bad for her health. And so Salama is very worried about her and apologizes and tells her, yeah, I'm gonna get married. And something that is very interesting is that Layla says she's not gonna come to the wedding, like, which is like just a nikah ceremony at the hospital because war and stuff. So she does not come to the ceremony. She's like, it's too dangerous and stuff like that, and Salama agrees. She's like, we have to protect the baby. Thing that I have not mentioned is the fact that Salama, that Dr. Ziad I talked about earlier, Dr. Ziad is talked with Salama and brought out a list, and on the list are the names of the people in the prison detained from the government, because they were like against the government. And this is the people that are still alive, and she sees that her brother Hamza is on that list, and that shatters her heart because the torture in those prisons is so horrible that she literally made dua for her brother to pass away and just be in Jannah, because of course he was gonna die a shahid, you know, shaheed shaheed. So she was very devastated to find out that her brother is still being tortured. And when she went home, when she found out, this is like before, this is just a little fun fact we have to put in there, not so fun fact. She went home and she kept talking about the fact that she was gonna break Layla's heart. And while I was reading, I kept waiting to see Layla's reaction, you know, like to see how she's gonna take it. But all they talked about in the book is I'm just putting on some eyeshadow on my hand. All they talked about in the book is Salama's initial reaction, and I thought that was weird because at the end of the day, it is, yes, Salama's brother, but it's also Layla's husband and the father of the daughter that is on the way, like the child she's carrying. So why are we not talking about Layla's feelings? Anyways, let's go back to the wedding. So Layla's not gonna attend the nikah ceremony, but it's fine. They meet, I think it was like at a time at 12 p.m. I think. They meet at the hospital. Kenan brings his two siblings and they have the nikah ceremony at the hospital. The person that like normally they bring in the imam, but circumstances, the person that marries the two of them is Dr. Ziad, which I think was beautiful because she always said he was like a father figure for her. So I think that was very sweet and stuff. Yeah, so they have this little wedding and stuff. The witnesses were the people at the hospital. So yeah, it was a very quick ceremony. After that, like, everything's halal and they're officially married. I also very much love about this book is that the characters are all, of course, Muslim, and the main character Salama is a hijabi, and it's like not even important. It's just like a little like side thing that you find out while reading the book, when she's like, oh my god, I tuck up my hijab and I fix my hijab. And I think that was just like so sweet that it's like normalizing the fact that she's like a hijabi, you know. Love the fact that there was like no physical contact between Kenan and Salama until they're married, because she even like once said like, oh, I wished I could hug him now, but I can't because like I'm not promised to him and I cannot like touch him until we're married. And I think that was like so beautiful to show the beauty of a halal relationship, you know. Anyways, they're married now and they agree that they are gonna leave in 3 days. So they're gonna survive 3 days together until they leave on a boat, which is very dangerous, but they leave on a boat to Germany. Okay, so here's the plot. So firstly, they agree that Kenan and his siblings for those few days are gonna go live with Salama and Layla, because Layla wants to stay there, and it would be more practical for Kenan and his siblings to live with Salama for the preparations than for Salama and Layla to go over to Kenan. Okay, so when Kenan comes with his siblings to move in with Salama and Layla, Layla of course needs to put on her hijab, right? Well, she's like kind of like giggling Salama. She's like, oh my god, no, don't come, and then she's like kind of covering Layla because she's still not wearing her hijab, and she keeps yelling out for Kenan not to come in, but he comes in anyways, and he's just like looking in shock. And Salama is like, oh my god, what's wrong with you, or something like that. And he's like, Salama, I don't see anyone. And then she's like, well, duh, you're not seeing anyone, I'm covering her. And Kenan looks at her and he's like, there is no Layla, Salama. Yo, the tears I cried when I found, oh my god, the tears I cried when I read that. Oh my god. Literally, I took the book I was reading, I put it on the bed, and I stared into the wall, tears flowing down my cheeks. I could not know what I do. You know what I did? I just like stood up physically from my bed, took a walk around the apartment, and went back to my mom and told her what happened. She didn't care, of course, because she didn't read the book, but I needed to share my sadness with someone. Turns out, y'all, Layla passed away a few months ago. I cannot talk about this. I'm still not healed from this trauma, y'all. Oh, y'all, it's getting dark outside. I need to finish the video because I keep going on my phone in the middle of the video. Sorry. Anyways, so Layla passed away, and the night she passed away, Salama woke up the next morning and saw Layla sitting on her sofa. She couldn't physically, like, she woke up, I think, and she was next to her in the bed. She could not physically handle the fact that the only person she loved that was left passed away. So the only person she was still living for and still had hope for and did not want to physically die to join her loved ones, the only one keeping her alive was Layla and the niece on the way. And they both died. The baby didn't make it and Layla didn't make it. I'm sorry I'm making this so unserious, but I found my mic and I wanted to feel like a podcast, bro. Oh, sorry, that was embarrassing. So yeah, basically I will never recover from this. Zulfa, if you're ever seeing this, which I doubt, I do not forgive you. It made the book so very much more better, like perfect, because it's like the perfect plot you could have added, but still this one made me really cry. I thought it was so sad that the only reason she wanted to leave Syria and the only reason keeping her hope to live passed away. Oh my god, poor Salama. So I was very glad that she met Kenan and got married and kind of like had Kenan's little siblings to care for and stuff like that, because else I would have gone mad. So they decide to spend the absolute last nights at the hospital, like with Kenan's siblings and stuff. And the Syrian military comes, like the military from Assad, not the Free Syrian Army, which regularly comes and protects them, by the way. Anyways, so the bad soldiers kind of come and literally like beat everyone up. They beat up Salama came very close to death. Kenan had to watch another man like trying to touch Salama and stuff like that, and Kenan himself is not very strong. He's malnourished from the war. He's very thin and bony, and like everyone's very weak and she comes very close to death, but alhamdulillah she survives. Sorry, there was a mosquito. So she survives. They Dr. Ziad kind of like takes care of Salama, like he's a doctor of course, and they make it onto the boat the next days. The boat scene also made me cry because like they went through military checks and stuff. Like this is everything, this is like stuff you need to read. Honestly, it's just not very like interesting when I tell it with my own words, and I'm not gonna like read out of the book. I'm pretty sure that's illegal to read like a lot of pages, so I'm just gonna tell you. They make it onto the boat, and she says that when they're on the boat they start like singing a revolutionary song, and that, like, when I imagined it, people like fleeing from the war and then singing through all the misery, and I started crying. Like, I'm not even Syrian, so I can't imagine how hard it is for like people actually from Syria. Anyways, there's a character I didn't mention. Is the person that provided the boat for them is a colleague of Salama. He's not a very good character, like he's not very nice or anything. Oh my god, my stand almost fell off the table. Very not professional of me. I hope the thing didn't change the view or perspective or anything. Anyways, so he provides the boat for them and says that the boat is very stable, right? But once Salama arrives, she notices that the boat looks very old and there was way too many people on the boat. The people passing by my room always, there's not one single video I filmed where there's not a car or passing by making noise. Anyways, I healed from my crash out. Anyways, so the boat looks very unstable, and Salama is pretty sure the boat is not going to make it through. But either they're going to try to go back the borders where they're going to get shot or detained and tortured, or they're going to have the slight chance of making it to Germany on the boat. Or I think the first place they go to is Greece, and then from Greece they go to Germany. I forgot. Anyways, so they make it on the boat, the singing happens, I just told you guys about, and the boat sinks. It's very cold. Kenan is very sick, and she provides him with meds and lemons against seasickness, but they're all very not well. Her, Kenan, and the siblings are not well. So at some point they all hold hands and jump off the boat because they cannot go through this boat because it's physically sinking right now. Khauf, while she's on the boat, says his last goodbyes, and it was a very emotional goodbye with Khauf because he has become a prominent character in her life. Also very, very, very sad scene, I think, because it was a love-hate relationship. She didn't only hate him. He also like helped her like see the reality at times, because if not for him she would have not left Syria and never had hope for life, and would have probably not have gone the next step with Kenan, which is like marrying him and convincing him and stuff like that. So Khauf was bad, yes, but he also helped her in a lot of ways. It's Salama telling us how everything went. So I really don't remember this part much, but Kenan's siblings stayed with his family, like his uncle and aunt, because of course Kenan and Salama are both 18, 19, something like that, so they cannot take care of like 2 children. So it was better for like a responsible family member and that is financially stable to take care of them. Salama and Kenan also throughout the book dreamed a lot about making a book together, because Kenan is an illustrator and Salama loves to write stories and stuff like that. So that's what they're doing now, living their dream. They call Kenan's siblings every day, but they're not in the same country. Salama and Kenan then later on decided to move to Canada, and his siblings stayed in Germany. So that was the end. And now I'm gonna read to you my favorite like things said in the book. One scene I marked here, or one page I marked here, was a page where I cried my eyes out when reading it. I was literally so sad, and I later found out something which made it even more sad. Okay, let me put you in the scene. Salama is works as a surgeon, of course, and as a doctor in this hospital. This was like at the beginning of the book, as you can see. And there's a little boy, I think his name was Ahmed. He was 6 years old, and I think he had internal bleeding. I keep saying I think it, because, you know, I started this book like maybe like 8 months ago, but I didn't, like, I read it very slowly just because I was scared to finish it. Like, I always read it and then I finished it. Anyway, so she talks with him and like kind of like stays with him in the last pages. You have to think that the book is told through Salama's perspective. So when in the books it says she's talking about herself, so it's about Salama's emotions and what Salama's thinking. Okay. Are you scared of death? I reply instead. He coughs and a hint of red drips from his lips. My God. I don't know. Baba's dead. Mama said he's in heaven. Will I go to heaven too? Asked the little boy. I shudder in a breath. Yes, you will. You'll see your Baba there. He smiles gently. Alhamdulillah, he whispers. What can I do in heaven, Auntie? How can a child have so much composure in the face of death? Oh my God. I swallow my tears, drowning inwardly. You will play all day there. There are games and food and candy and toys and everything you could ever want. Can I talk to God too? I'm taken aback by his question. Of course you can, Ya Amri. Good. We sit silently for a few minutes and I listen as his lungs struggle. Already his eyes are losing focus, his breaths becoming shallower by the second. I pray for his soul and recite Quran with verses in a whisper. Auntie, don't cry. When I go to heaven, I'll tell God everything. He chokes out. I look up and his face has gone still. His eyes are glassy and it looks like little stars are caught in his blue irises. I cried so much when I read this. And when I finished the book, I read the like writer's notice at the end. Oh my God, what happened to my book? Why is it dirty? Anyways, yeah. So when I finished the book, she says that a lot of scenes on here are based off of true life events that happened in Syria during the war, and specifically the fact that there is a little boy while dying said, "I'll tell God everything," truly happened. And when I allowed myself to go on Pinterest after finishing the story, I saw that a lot of fans of this book, like the whole fan community, loved this page so much and like were like touched by this page as much like as I was, and that made me like truly like feel connected to like the community and stuff. So yeah, that was like a very intense page. And then I'm like trying to like the other ones I didn't like really mark with like a sticky thingy, so I'm trying to like see what I highlighted. Okay, so the last thing Salama says in the book is, oh my God, it reminds me that as long as the lemon trees grow, hope will never die. Because the lemon trees are a very big sign of the Syria resistance, just like the olive trees for the Palestinian people. So this is something I marked because I thought it was a very beautiful quote. And let's look for something else, because I thought I did. So let's look for some more. A very beautiful conversation between Dr. Ziad, which she says has become like a father figure to her since her father passed, which I don't think I quite mentioned more than once. So he said, Dr. Ziad smiles sadly. If we die Salama, at least we die doing the right thing. We die as martyrs. And then Layla says, and I'll see Layla, baby Salama, Mama, and Baba again. Baby Salama is the nickname they gave to her niece. Death doesn't scare me, doctor, I whisper. It's being taken alive. this like talks about how bad the torture literally was. Oh my god, it was very intense, like, to know how bad they were treated in the prisons, you know. Also, a very beautiful quote, a sad quote. Do y'all hear these dogs? This is what I have to go through every night. Oh my god, I hope it's not like bothering the fact that you can hear me or anything, but yeah. A sliver of a chance at survival is better than living at the mercy of genocide. Oh my god. Salama, a little reminder of course, is a doctor. She saves people's life, but sometimes fails to save people's life, and this is what she says. For every life I can save during my shift, one more drop of blood becomes a part of me. No matter how many times I wash my hands, our martyrs' blood seeps beneath my skin into my cell. By now, it's probably encoded in my DNA. I think this quote truly shows the weight of the guilt she carries, even though all she does is her best and she saves people's lives, but the guilt she feels is so heavy that for her, saving people's life is the bare minimum, and not being able to save someone's life is the biggest crime, offense, and horrible thing she can do. And I think that's just like very, very, very sad, you know. Yeah, the book is like truly a big recommendation. As long as the story time is, I still have not talked about the whole like book, so even if I spoiled, like, it's still, I think I'm gonna reread this book in a few months, I mean, in the future, just because like it's truly like more of an experience, like you really like go into this, and I'm gonna be forcing every like person in my life to read this book. Like, truly, from the bottom of my heart, this is a very big recommendation. As I said, I am someone who loves books a lot, and it's truly the hardest thing ever to find a book that aligns with my morals. Like, I say this again and again, like, I know in our generation Colin Hoover is like the author right now. Horrible person. I've read a few of her books. Traumatized, literally traumatized. The most horrible writing, the most horrible formulation of sentences. She cannot write at all. Her storylines are predictable and overrated. An author that truly deserves recognition and deserves to get her book spot is Zulfa Katouh. And I know that Syria is, alhamdulillah, finally free from the Al-Assad regime, but the Syrian people do still struggle a lot, and they have lost their homes. Most of them lost a big part of their family, if not all of their family. So we still have to feel like a lot of sadness and sympathy to what happened in Syria, and we have to speak up every day about the people that are oppressed and living in a genocide, such as our brothers and sisters in Palestine, our brothers and sisters in Sudan, in Congo. Like, every oppressed country deserves to be represented in the most beautiful way, just as this book represents. If anyone knows any similar books to this one, write it in the comments. I will make sure to read that book and then do a review on it. Also, the design on this book is incredible. I ordered this and it arrived in Germany, and my brother got it first, and he literally, when I called him, he was like, oh my god, this design is so beautiful. There's also an Indonesian person that came out that has a very beautiful design, which I want to have, but one book is enough, I guess. But yeah, I also saw the hardcover looks very good. So yeah, if, like, as I said, everything about this is perfection. And this is like supposed to be, I think, Salama, and this is Kenan. Honestly, I don't think the figures like go with their description, especially that Kenan is so, I don't know, I don't imagine them like that. Like, thanks for this suggestion, but I make the characters in my mind. They'll not have the right to. And basically, I saw a lot of fan art of Salama, and they made her white. Salama is not white. Salama is tan, and they mentioned it in the book. And that annoys me because there is a cover, I think, that came out where Salama is white. And I'm sorry that Zulfa, but that is not right. You said in the book that her skin is tan. That is not okay, bro. That's not okay. Anyways, maybe I'll refilm this version in video in French. Maybe I'm too lazy for that. So goodbye everybody. Have an amazing day, night, evening, I don't know, morning. Who watches videos in the morning, I don't know, but if you do, I'll try not to judge. Love you guys. Bisous.